Hey, hello, lovely people. How are you doing? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Pranav. You might also know me as Nihilistic Gunnar on Twitter, and thanks for tuning in. Now, before I start this episode, which will be my fifth episode of this show, I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all my lovely Twitter mutuals, especially the loyal listeners of this show. Thanks for all your words of encouragement. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your retweets. I mean it. In this era, everyone's starting a podcast, and I know how a set of people in social media hate podcasters in general. But your support means a lot. It just tells how much respect and love you have for me. So I'm always grateful for your love and support. Also, I just wanna clear one thing. My aspiration with respect to this podcast is not something really big. I'm not aiming to become popular, earn money, monetize or something like that. I just want to ramble, guys. That's it. I just want to express my thoughts. I just want to express how I feel about certain things. I just want to talk football via this platform. Of course, you can always express your opinions in multiple formats. You can tweet things, you can post updates on Facebook and other social media. But I mean, in my opinion, talking about it, nothing beats this, man. You can articulate your thoughts. I mean, one advantage of writing tweets and stuff is you can edit and process your thoughts before you put them out. But this is spontaneous and this comes from heart. Whatever I speak comes from heart. So I just feel that opinions that come from me, especially in this podcast, I think they are unfiltered, as the name suggests. And yeah, feel free to drop your feedback, feel free to give your opinions, verdict. I mean, it is tough for me to make consistent episodes because of my professional and personal commitments. I mean that itself takes a lot of energy out of me. But yeah, on those occasional days like today, I can take some time and talk or ramble about stuff, especially football, which we all love. Anyways, let's get into the episode. And for today's episode, I kind of made a rough draft on the list of items I want to talk about. And the first on this list of items is Emil Smith Rowe. Sad crying noises, yeah. Emil Smith Rowe, it is. His potential departure to Fulham is almost confirmed. So let's wish him all the best for his Fulham career and all his future endeavors. It's kind of bittersweet, right? I have mixed feelings about this because I absolutely love the player to bits. But at the same time, I can understand our situation and our desperate need for sales, which was poorly handled over the years, which we will talk about it in the later segment. But it's kind of bittersweet because he's one of the few players who kickstarted the process. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, if you can recall those days during the pandemic days when the world was gloomy, sad, Arsenal also was playing very bad football. One might argue that some of the relegation for us were better than us during that time. And when we were in absolute trenches, very few players stepped up, and Emil Smith Rowe is one of those guys for sure. Not only did our team cried out for creativity and he provided that, he also brought so many things. He brought enthusiasm, his energy, his drive to run and carry the ball, his work rate in general. It was so amazing to watch, especially a Hale and graduate academy player, one of your own, doing stuff like that and helping the club when the situations was. That 2020 to 2021, that stretch where Emil Smith Rowe helped us, would always go down in history, man. Will be remembered for sure. Because not only did he do all those things that I mentioned, but he also stepped up in some important games, scored against Chelsea consistently, scored against Manchester United. So I think he scored one amazing goal versus Brentford or something, which was like the lone winner of that game. He just carry the ball from left flank and he absolutely smash it. I have to check the highlights to figure out which goal was that, but when we were in dire situation, he was one of those shining lights which helped us. That 10 goal season would always go down in history. But in general, in retrospect, if you take a look at his numbers, they might not be impressive, but I'm someone who wouldn't gauge Emil Smith Rowe's contribution with his numbers, because his contribution was much more than that. His contribution was tracking back. Even though he wasn't gifted with greatest of physical attributes, he always tracked back. He held the ball well. His work rate was immense. But unfortunately, he had his fair share of fitness concerns after that. I think even in 2021 season, he was tested positive for COVID twice. He just had rotten luck that time. Last season, I thought he would get chances, but for some reason, Arteta doesn't seem to trust in some of the players, so he hardly rotates. That is one of the problems I have with Arteta in general, because he relies too much on our starters, which is fair enough. But players like Emil Smith Rowe, who has proved their worth in the past, they deserve to play some of the games. He started versus Luton, got man of the match, but then he didn't play again. I'm sure he could have helped us when the fixtures were coming thick and fast, especially against teams like Brighton, Aston Villa or something. He could have trusted Emil Smith Rowe a bit. More than Vieira, I would say. But that's just my personal bias. Yeah, it is what it is. And 35 million is a good business, for sure. Definitely, Fulham is not an idiot to pay that much amount for someone who hasn't started that many games in the last 2 years. They clearly have their scouting justification for this. This just goes on to prove how talented he can be if he is healthy. So good luck to him once again. We'll miss him, as well as miss the Saka and Emil Smith Rowe chant, which I was hoping to sing in my future Emirates trip. But it is what it is, I guess. But again, as much as I love him, this sale had to be made. I can understand the rationale behind this sale. He's one of those assets who were being underused, who was having some rotten luck with injuries and stuff. So a change of environment could be vital for a player of his caliber, and it's a win-win for all parties combined. Let's talk about the incomings. We are gonna sign a player called Riccardo Calafiori. I don't know if I have pronounced it right, but I don't have any expert knowledge on this player profile. I have seen him play for Italy a couple of times. He seems decent. He shows aggression. He has good ball carrying skills. I doubt if he would be able to deploy his ball carrying skills in Premier League level, because even Saliba was very aggressive with his ball carrying, and he was very aggressive in general if you look at his League One compilations and matches. But then he became very restricted. He became very calculative after he started playing for Arsenal. I don't know if it's a coach instruction, but in general Premier League, you won't get the same freedom you get at international level, mainly because international games are very slow, methodical and tactical, and that league, you cannot compare that league with Premier League's quality, in my humble opinion. If you hate Premier League, please drop your comments in the reply section. But But if he is gonna start as left back, which is being rumored, then he might get that freedom to roam on that left channel, carry the ball. He can be someone like of that wide zone, but on the left hand side. I still don't think if he has enough footwork or confidence in his playing abilities like Zinchenko has, but he can still control that zone and do a box to box carrying shit with and without possession. So let's see how this one pans out. I mean, if everyone's saying that he's gonna be a left back, but like last time we signed Timber, we all thought he would be playing either a centre back or a right back, but then Arteta decided to field him as a left back, so we never know. And it's good to have profiles like that. It's good to have profiles who can fit across multiple positions. So, and it's not for big money as well, and he's just 22 and 30 something million, which is a very solid deal, I would say. Now we're also being linked with Mikel Merino. I'm honest to God, I don't have much opinions about this player. I saw a bit of him, but I'm not sure. Like, I haven't seen much of his games to rate him, so I would pass. Now let's discuss about another burning topic which is very important. If you are on Twitter, you might be aware of the discourse regarding our like loan system and how bad it has been with respect to like sales. I mean, in my opinion, this has to stop, because like you cannot like throw casual comments on the surface level like it's just kids, they're just kids, like why are you like stressing too much about it, like, but you have to put some context about it. If you are having an academy, if you are giving scholarship to kids, and if you're having an academy, it's basically an investment. From a club's perspective, it's an investment, and the returns you get can be of two different types. You either get a return in the form of their quality and their impact, their contribution to your senior side, or you get some returns via money. Now, if a player has managed to impress all the academy coaches, makes his way, climbs his ladder to the first team training, then eventually makes it to first team like Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, something like that, and then if they start contributing to the senior side, and if they start contributing for the club's objective, that's one way of getting returns. Another way of getting returns is simply like providing them and enabling them a good pathway, giving them good loans so that they get chances to prove themselves and eventually get a good monetary return out of them. I know there are a lot of variables involved in this, but there's a lot of things has to go right, because even young players have agents these days, because and agents sometimes become very self-centered and selfish. I know a lot of things are at play, but still I want Mertesacker and like whoever's gonna be the loan manager, I want them to give them like the right pathway, career path, give them the right loans so that they get enough opportunities at highest level to prove their skills and eventually either make their way into our first team or get sold to another good team for a good amount of money. I mean, to lose players like Hutchinson, Sousa, like Kozia Dewberry, and then this 16-year-old kid, this Obi, to Manchester United, like, and to get nothing out of it. I mean, this just like break evens whatever we are gonna get from a player like Emil Smith-Rowe. If you're gonna get 35 million out of Emil Smith-Rowe and like people are praising Edu for this activity, then I'd be damn pissed, because we should have gotten the same money for out of Hutchinson, Kozia Dewberry and other likes, because they clearly have the talent. And I have seen it like over the years, we haven't provided the right pathway. Saka and Emil Smith Rowe got lucky, I would say, because we were crying out for someone to save us, and it just happened that they got chances because of Freddie, Lindbergh and Emery combined, and like they made use of those chances. Now you can argue that like, hey Pranav, like the quality of Haaland is not as good as how you are claiming it to be, but see, the point still stands. Like, if they are not Arsenal quality, then you should at least help them, give chances in pre-season, like help them like get good loans in such a way that like they get chances to prove their quality and get a decent money out of them, and that decent money is eventually gonna help us invest in some other position which we are lacking. Take Omari Hutchinson for example. He's a very talented player, very talented youngster. Chelsea bought him and they loaned him to Ipswich. It was just a matter of one loan. I'm just gonna ignore all the agent drama for the sake of this argument, but let's forget his agent for a while. He moved to Chelsea. He got his first loan move to Ipswich Town, helped them promote. He was very key to them, one of the key players for them, and boom, 20 million. Chelsea get 20 million. They will invest the 20 million to another player which they need. We have to start doing the same. And I know like success, I mean, I can also understand the argument of like, I can also understand that loans success depends on a lot of other factors and variables, because for example, Emi Martinez had bad loan spells, but until he got Reading, at Reading he proved his worth. But after that, did he get chances at our club? He started Europa games, yes, but he had to wait till to get injured to prove his worth. But Arsene Wenger was using Emi Martinez in pre-season, and for some reason he couldn't trust Emi Martinez. I mean, every great player has to start somewhere, and we have to streamline this process somehow. There was some instances, like for example, Real Waters got opportunities in last pre-season. He started the games, he did well. He was better than seniors like Pablo Mari and other stuff, but still he was an unused substitute for so many games. Now I'm not asking them to come and like make an instant impact or something, but Arteta can give players like them minutes on games where we are like comfortable. Like there were games where we were like 5-0 up, 6-0 up. There were 2 games where we were 5-0 up at half time. I can understand the skepticism, like that football it's like very unpredictable and stuff like that, but if you are 5-0 up at home, you can give chances to players like them after 60th minute or 65th minute. Like that game time will help them a lot, instead of giving game time to fringe players like Cedric, El Neni, who have like no roles at our club at all. I would rather give chances to someone like Walters and see him make mistakes and learn from it, rather than giving it to someone like Cedric Suarez, who clearly has no future at the club. I mean, not only this, we have to streamline a lot of stuff, to be honest. I mean, we should get better connections. Of course it is tough to compete against professional clubs who have their sister clubs, who have their feeder clubs. For example, Manchester City can easily loan their players to Girona and get benefited, but we don't have that luxury. And if you don't have that luxury, I think then it's the duty of our academy manager to establish contacts with the other managers, championship managers, second division, third division managers, teams, and it's also important to get consensus about the game time, put some right contracts clauses in place of like the loan contracts, because I was told that Patino went to Swansea City, was starting games, but then when the management changed, he didn't get chances. So we need to figure out the list of factors that is affecting the loan spells of our players, and we should start like fixing them like one by one, so that even our players get good number of chances, and in turn return some value to us, either in the form of money or by contributing to our first team. I completely agree that we are not in a state to give game time to our youngsters like how we did for Emil Smith Rowe and Saka, because we were poor back then. But at the same time, there is preseason. Certain games you can experiment against weaker opposition. You can give game time to these players. Of course, there is Karabakh Cup. Like, I don't find the necessity or need for Arteta to play some important first teamers in Carabao Cup. Like, I would never like to see Saka playing for a Carabao Cup again. That opportunity should go to someone from the academy or someone who's struggling to find form. Because Carabao Cup has historically been a competition to promote youngsters. That's how Wenger used to fast track players. If you take a look at the players like Fabregas, Clichy, all of them started at Carabao Cup and then eventually got into where they became. I mean, you either give chances to them in pre-season and in cup competitions like Carabao Cup if they're too good and impress you at club level, or provide them the right loan opportunities. I was told that Caitlin, the guy, one of our academic graduates, was sent to Slovakian second division. How does it help these players? I mean, you have 2 targets at 10 clubs, and I know that there is like a lot of complications behind that, a lot of stakeholders are behind that, but still I feel that we have to give some right pathway. For example, Balogun had the Trains loan spell and where he absolutely flourished. He combined that with the PR he got for that US citizenship change and everything. He fetched us good money. So we should either get good money out of these players like Cozier, Duberry, Hutchinson. That money should have been ours. That 20 million Chelsea received for Hutchinson should have been ours, which should have helped us invest in a problem position to strengthen our senior team. So these are the pockets where we can improve to boost our budget. Like, don't see it as I mean if you don't want to see it as like promoting youth academy perspective, just see it as from a monetary perspective. These are pockets where we can make money. Okay, that's enough rant about our loan system. That's all I wanted to cover in today's episode. Now let's go to the questions that we have received. The first question is from Frost, who was asked about Fabio Vieira. If you know me personally, you'd know that I'm not a big fan of Fabio Vieira in general. We got him in 2022 season, I believe, and it's been like close to 50 games and like 15 to 16 starts, for example, and he has scored just 3 goals. He has just scored 3 goals, and like his overall play itself is not consistent. Like, this is what pisses me more. Like, we got him for 35 million. Like, I'm not expecting anything magical from a 35 million player, but at least I would hope some amount of decent quality or like consistency for a player of that money. But so far he hasn't impressed me at all. I tell you why. Because his dead ball striking is good, no one's gonna deny that. He's good with his crosses, early crosses, his assist for that Martinelli goals and quick counters, they are very good, but those alone contribute to becoming a successful player in Premier League. If you watch and observe his gameplay closely, the amount of times players bully him to get the ball is like just too much. Even in the games where he played good, there were occasions where he just loses balls on that half space region. People just tackle and get balls easily. There are 2 kinds of players: the ones who lose possession by making bad passes, making risky passes, that's still fine because their intention is to create something for the team. But there are players who lose balls because of their inability to shield or inability to beat the press. And with respect to Fabio Vieira, I don't think he has the strength to hold the ball or shield the ball in tight areas. I think people understand that weakness and they get the ball off him very easily. Of course, I want to be proved wrong, but so far I don't see any spark in him. I just hope it doesn't become a failure signing, because I mean, if you're gonna celebrate the profit of Emil Smith Rowe for 35 million, that 35 million literally we spent the same for Fabio Vieira, so that break even there only. So, and ESR had his 10 goal season, so I mean, like 10 goals is the least you expect from Vieira this season. I just hope and pray that he comes good, because just wasted investment, just like Nuno Tavares, Sambi Lukonga, etc. were like clearly misprofiled, and I don't know if Vieira is an agent-driven signing, but I don't think if it was profiled correctly. Same goes for Nuno Tavares. If Arteta's aim is to go for an underlapping fullback, why go for a player like Nuno Tavares who was a wingback? I mean, and also, I mean, like, sorry, like for going out of context, like, also, like, we got Nuno Tavares for 8 million or something, and we didn't get any major profit from his sale. We just sent him somewhere with loan to obligation. And despite him scoring some 4-5 goals in League One for Marseille, I saw some of those games. I mean, he's just not world class or something, but he's decent. He's decent enough to play for a top level club. And you know, we should have gotten at least 15 or 16 million. I mean, that is on Edu and all the contract negotiators. Yeah, but still, see, it's just bad PR, man. I think Nuno just had bad PR. We should have gotten better value out of him. So coming back to Fabio Vieira, I don't see anything special in him yet. His ball striking is OP though. His ball striking and his ability to pick up a pass for counters. I think he would be best suited if you use him as a impact sub when the game's getting stretched and if the opponents sit back. In those occasions, we can use Fabio Vieira to spam crosses. Moving on to the next reply, Pratik has asked what should be the main characteristics of a perfect number 8 that we need. To be honest, I don't know what's the definition of perfect with Arsenal's system, because our system endured a lot of changes in the last 2 seasons itself. For example, we played Xhaka as the left 8 and Partey as our 6. Partey is more of a octopus kind of player, like us. You all know, like, he's not only good with his defense, but he's also good with his distribution and other versatile things. And Xhaka, who used to be a regista / CDM, did perfectly fine in making late runs to the box as well as shielding that zone with his limited pace. So Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard kinda looked like perfect, close to perfect, because they all complemented each other. But then it underwent a change. We were forced to sell Xhaka, and Partey, because of his injury concerns, doesn't start anymore. So we bought Rice. So Rice is not like your regular Partey kind of player. He's good at a lot of things, but he still doesn't have that same agility or like the same, like, the range of passes that Partey has. But still, Rice managed to impress us a lot with his ball carrying abilities, goal scoring prowess. He even took corners for us. But then, like, we changed a lot throughout the season. We tried him in an advanced role as well, with Jorginho sitting at the deep and dictating terms. I mean, in my opinion, like, not only for Arsenal, an ideal number 8 should be able to contribute on both ends of the pitch. A typical Ramsey kind of player. I mean, I have my own bias for 2 kinds of players in general. I like the Ramsey kind of molds, like who do a lot of up and down work, who like always drop deep to help defenses, as well as make the right runs to score and be at the end of things. They have great engine as well. So basically, someone like Ramsey plus Khedira combined, like if you see Khedira in that iconic Real Madrid trio, Ozil did all the topping work. Like he used to make all those perfect passes. He used to pick out players, but he was shielded by Xabi Alonso, who dictated terms from the deep with his long-range pings and everything. But it was Sami Khedira, who did all the running and like all the dirty tackling and everything. So, in my opinion, if you ask me, like, I would love a profile like Ramsey's, who do proper box-to-box setup. Either that, or I would like someone like a very like advanced version of Ceballos, who was good uh, in turns, like in beating presses and everything, but still was like not positionally aware while defending things. So I think profiles like that would help not only Arsenal, but I mean for all teams in general. And like I'm imagining a prime Aaron Ramsey with Odegaard and Rice. That would be a dream trio, because like it's not like one guy would be doing the defensive work, because all three would equally share their defensive duties, and that would give some amount of unpredictability to our side. So to be honest, I don't know, but I would like a Ramsey kind of profile, yes. Moving on to the next reply. Ashwin has written a long question. Let me read it out loud. Would like to hear about your views on which aspects you'd like to see us improve compared to last season, especially with respect to significance to unorthodox solution now that we are sufficiently stacked, not completely though as of today. Okay, answering the first question, in which aspects I'd like to see us improve compared to last season, like I would like us to see more open play goals. I would like us to be more ruthless in front of goal, because our efficiency in front of goal was not that great last season. I like to see us take more shots from outside the box. We have good players who can take shots outside the box, but the game management at some point Arteta has to give up his fetish for passing it around and like walking the ball to the net. He has to allow long shots. Like at the end of the day, it's stuff like long shots which will help us win games. Like last season, you might have seen that Jorginho's long shot versus Aston Villa, which eventually helped us win the game. Same goes in even like last season, Odegaard scored some amazing bangers outside the D box. I can understand that it comes at the cost of like losing possession, but sometimes you just have to play the probability game, and when it's crunch time and when you are throwing kitchen sink, you have to allow crosses and you have to allow long shots, and I don't see it happening that much, and yeah, I just hope to see us improve. And for the second question, with respect to significance to unorthodox solutions now that we are sufficiently stacked. Yeah, we are sufficiently stacked, I would say, and we have versatile players, and it gives a good flexible outlook. It gives a good flexibility for the coach, so anyone can play on any position. Like for example, Timber has had experience playing in left back, right back, center back. This Ricardo Califori guy has played as center back / left back. So we also have Zinchenko, who is completely different profile to what we have with Calafiori. We have Ben White. We have who can slot into center back if we need. So it's good that we have flexible players. I just hope to see us like I just hope to see us do the right game management. We make the right substitutions at the right time. At the same time, I want Arteta to give opportunity to everyone in the squad so that the system gets even more oiled, so that like it doesn't rely on individuals anymore. Now if you see Manchester City, they don't rely on individuals. Like they don't cry if their main center back gets injured or like gets out of the season, because they have players who can fit in and still do well because their system is like well polished and oiled. And I'd like Arteta to do the same this season, because last season we clearly overused and we clearly over relied on certain individuals who played a good number of games. So take for example Odegaard, Saliba, Saka for example. I want to see more players stepping up. I want to see the entire roster competing with each other. I want to see us try out various formations and with various personals in preseason and on some like dummy group games or something like that, so that we are ready for the worst case scenario. That's how we can move to the next stage. I mean, I'm completely with the fact that a solid 11 will always help us, because they get better with chemistry and everything as they play together consistently. But at the same time, our system also should need sharpening, and that we can do only by rotating players in the right times. Like rotating it doesn't mean like you should give a start to someone ahead of a senior player or something like that, a star player or something like that. But you just have to make the right substitutions so that the system gets its flexibility as well as solidity. I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but this is what I feel. I just hope that our system becomes something that doesn't rely on certain individuals or certain star players. So the golden star, like the golden state, is to reach a phase where we don't cry when our star players get injured. And that can be achieved only by making sufficient signings or like adding depth. That also is a gradual process. Like that's also down to how we integrate them and what match scenarios do we integrate them. Okay, moving on to the last reply. This is from Sagar. I'm a good friend of his. If you're not following him, follow him at the rate Sagar_TKD. He has asked about EAFC. I can make a whole new episode of just ranting about EA Sports in general. I can rant about EA Sports for 2 hours straight. I'm just being plain honest here. That's how angry I am at the games that they have been releasing like over the past 2-3 years. But to quickly answer his question, is EA Sports EAFC 25 worth it? I don't know. I think they marketed something called FC IQ, and they're saying the game will have new play styles and everything. It just seems to me that they're just gonna copy whatever that is present in Football Manager, some tactical form. I don't know. The trailer looks flashy, of course, but I don't want them to over-engineer certain things. I just want them to focus on certain game modes which has good potential. For example, career mode has good potential. Even with small feature enhancements, small tweaks, they can make it an enjoyable and realistic game mode. But they are not doing that because they continue to ignore the offline players who don't pay money for Ultimate Team and stuff like that. I've bought FIFA consistently from FIFA 22 in the recent seasons. My very first FIFA game is FIFA 2001, by the way, so I'm a legacy FIFA player, and I've seen how the career mode and likes evolved over years. Right now, it just feels like they don't care at all. It just feels that like they're making changes just to put something on the updates blog. Those aren't changes which aren't enhancing the experience of career mode enjoyers. Like, I'm being dead honest here. EA should just hire me as product manager, man. I mean, even with very very small like tweaks, like bringing back retro features, like bringing back that pen and pad signature instead of these like long ass promos and cutscenes, which is just consuming graphic for the sake of it. I don't want to see this lame ass animation shit. I just want a contract with pen and paper. Give us an option to skip these cutscenes and promos from a global level. Make these kind of changes at least. Make this configurable. Give us a toggle that can skip these. I don't know. I can rant about it the whole day. There's no option to this request funds feature. Like, request funds was very good when it was first introduced, because like even if you don't have anything on the finances to make a contract extension or something like that, you can always go ahead and request the board to give you like 2 or 3 million so that you can renew your place. You can, like, features like those can help you a lot while doing career saves with like lower tier teams. I mean, don't even get started about the number of bucks that these guys are like giving with each releases. I mean, they just announced the FC24 release date and pre-order stuff, but they're still sending out updates in FC24 because they haven't fixed the bugs yet. The game mode has a lot of potential, but it's just so bad. I don't really enjoy the game anymore. But I still buy it because this is the only game that has like the rosters, rights and everything, and it is the only game that's monopolizing the entire football game market. I've heard whispers that 2K is working closely with FIFA to create a brand new FIFA game. I'm just hoping that the news is true, because these ES Sports guys need some competition for real. Only that can push them to make them care about us. And in general, I've heard from people that 2K career modes in 2K is usually fun based on how much emphasis they give on career modes in NBA games and stuff like that. I just hope that they are listening to us. So if by any chance, if any of you from 2K is listening to this podcast, please make some good shit for our career mode enjoyers, because we deserve it. We have been through hell in the last decade or something. And EA Sports, please make better games. Please enhance the experience. You can understand that you are trying to make this enjoyable by bringing a lot of fancy football tactical terms like box to box and jet power and stuff like that, copied from Football Manager, but still that alone won't like give us enjoyment. We want better gameplay. We want better career modes. I mean, now that there are a lot of generative AI and stuff like that, they can also bring features that asks dynamic questions which impacts the morale, form of players and stuff like that. Like, instead of like asking the same old set of questions and interviews which don't affect the career mode in any way, by the way, it just feels that they just show a bar that says that the morale is decreased based on the options you select, but it's just very templated and robotic. With AI and stuff, they can do a lot better. Like, I mean, like I said, this mode has potential. Just that someone has to channel their brain and energy into making it better and enjoyable for us. So that's it from today's episode, guys. Thanks for patience. I mean, in case if you are reached till this point, Thank you so much for patiently listening to my rants. I'll try to reach out to you guys again in next episode. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.